Using Desmos in secondary math to explore basic graph transformations using the TIP model for technology integration. Phase 1 of the TIP model includes an analysis of teaching and learning needs by determining relative advantage and a tech pack assessment. The first step of Phase 1 addresses relative advantage by answering two questions. Number 1, what is the problem that I am addressing? And number 2, do technology-based methods offer a solution with sufficient relative advantage? In Algebra 2, students need to determine the effects on the graph of various functions when the function is multiplied by a number or has a number added or subtracted from it as written in Algebra 2, TEK 7C. In the past, I have directly taught the rules and had students memorize them. This resulted in disengaged students and not much success in learning the concept. At other times, I had students discover the rules using graphing with pencil and paper. This led to a little more engagement, but again, little success in applying the concept. So I had to ask myself this question: how can I find a way for students to be engaged in visualizing the effects on graphs? The Desmos app, that is a Google app and can be downloaded on any device, can solve this problem. With Desmos, students can explore how changing the equations of parent functions affect the graph. In this example, students can visualize what happens to the graph when a number is added or subtracted to the function. Students will be able to test and apply their knowledge by visually seeing what happens to the graph when you change part of the equation. Students will be more engaged, and this should help with applying this difficult concept. The Tech Pack assessment includes a self-assessment by the instructor answering the following questions. Number 1, what is my content knowledge? Number 2, what is my knowledge of pedagogy? And number 3, what is my knowledge of technology? In assessing my content knowledge, I feel that my knowledge is strong. I have been teaching secondary math for 12 years now, including 7 years teaching Algebra 2. The longer I've been teaching, it has become clear to me that memorizing facts no longer leads to student success in math. As math teachers, we need to constantly look for ways to make the content relevant and meaningful to the students. It has been proven with research that students learn more by doing. Learners need to be actively involved in learning. Desmos is fun and engaging, and students get immediate feedback that they have mastered the content. By working through challenges created by Michael Fenton in a theme link created by math teacher Kathy Yanka, students can analyze whether or not they have mastered the material. In this first challenge, students have to write an equation based on the content that they learned using Desmos to match this graph. My students and I have already used Desmos in class, and it has worked very well. The students are familiar with how it works. I have 5 Chromebooks in the classroom, and we'll check out 10 more from the library, so each pair of students will have 1 Chromebook. The second phase of the TIP model includes planning for integration. This phase requires the teacher to decide on objectives and assessments, design integration strategies, and to prepare the instructional environment. For this lesson, students will learn TEK 7C, which says students will determine the effects on the graph of the parent function f of x equals x squared when f of x is replaced by a times f of x plus d, f of x minus c, f of b times x for specific values of a, b, c, and d. At the end of the lesson, students will create an equation to match a given graph through the previously mentioned thing link. Before the lesson, students will take a short pre-assessment to assess prior knowledge. At the end of the unit on transformations, students will demonstrate mastery on a unit post-test. I will compare this year's scores to last year's scores to see if it was effective. For this lesson, students will work in pairs with 1 Chromebook per pair. The night before class, they will be required to watch a video reviewing basic concepts of using Desmos to prepare for the lesson. I will have an activity sheet that walks them through the discovery on Desmos at the end of the discovery lesson. They will take screenshots of each graph created and attach to their group's Google Docs summary. They will also need to summarize their discovery for each transformation using complete sentences in paragraph form. As mentioned previously, I have 5 Chromebooks and will need to reserve 10 more and bring to my classroom the day before. Chromebooks will need to be charged, desks grouped in pairs, and the Desmos app will be added to each Chromebook. Students will log in using their Google Apps for Education account so they can share their work with me. I am excited to add the Desmos app for inquiry-based learning of Algebra 2 graph transformations and expect increased student success.